Welcome to Markets on Air. Heilbronn-Franconia, concentrated economic power in the countryside. There are about 80 market-leading firms located here in southern Germany, far from the population centers. They're just a few kilometers apart. A number of successful German businesses have set up operations here, including the machine and tool builder Illig. The important thing is that all of these different companies can take advantage of a particularly well-developed supply structure. It's a cooperative effort. We can get a lot of our component parts from suppliers within a 100-kilometer radius of Heilbronn. The Franconia region is mostly rural, but it's attracted a lot of big companies. That comes as no surprise to the regional marketing director. A lot of companies that are now international market leaders were founded elsewhere in Germany. During the reconstruction that took place after World War II, a lot of those firms relocated to rural areas where there was less damage from the war. In the 1950s and 60s, these companies managed to grow and develop in relative obscurity. During that time, a lot of local farmers were out of work, but they found new jobs in the region's industrial sector. Today, though, companies say it's hard to find skilled workers. The TTIP company, which makes industrial fans and control systems, offers prospective employees jobs for life, guaranteed. Competition for qualified employees is pretty high these days. That applies not only to white-collar workers, but also to those who can actually manufacture our products. These companies are now recruiting skilled workers from all over Europe so they can stay at the top of their game.
Free trade agreement. German automakers support it. The Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, or TTIP, is aimed at easing trade between the EU and the US. German automakers say the proposed agreement would reduce costs and boost investment by introducing common regulations and standards. For example, crash tests. Both the EU and the US have them, but the regulations are different.
We want safe vehicles. If we have the same crash test regulations on both sides of the Atlantic, we can cut down substantially on our development costs.
German auto executives reject the claim that Washington is trying to influence EU legislation. And they're not worried about increased competition from the US.
Our competitive position is so strong that we can maintain our market position, and any reductions in trade barriers, any improvements toward free trade, will increase our success and will help us create more jobs.
But German executives warn that if the TTIP agreement is not approved, US automakers could increase their share of markets in Asia.
There are 800 million consumers in the EU and the US. If the TTIP deal goes through, it would create the world's largest free trade zone. Every day, the EU and the US buy and sell goods and services worth a total of 2 billion euros. TTIP is designed to streamline trade, increase economic growth, and create jobs.
New record high for German exports. German exports hit an all-time high last year, and that's good news for the German economy. The total value of exports made in Germany topped 1.1 billion euros. That's an increase of 3.7% compared to the year before. Imports for 2014 were also up by 2% to 917 billion euros.
More funding for startups. The number of startup companies in Germany keeps growing. A new study shows that over the last 4 years, the amount of investment in these firms has nearly doubled. In the last 2 years, investors poured a total of about 2.5 billion euros into new German technology companies. And Berlin has jumped into second place behind London as the top spot in Europe for digital startup companies and their investors.
Startup bringing solar energy to Africa. These workers in Tanzania are talking to each other on Skype. The Berlin-based company Mobisol offers low-income customers in developing countries solar power systems. Thomas Gottschalk founded Mobisol 4 years ago. He wants to bring electricity to people who don't have it.
One of our co-founders came up with the idea. His wife was traveling in Africa and saw that a lot of people did not have access to electricity, but they did have mobile phone networks. What's more, the price of solar power modules has dropped sharply in recent years, and that's how we got the idea for Mobisol.
The company's smallest system supplies 30 watts and costs €250. People can use it to power a mobile phone, lights or a radio. Customers have 3 years to pay off the purchase contract, and they can make the payments by phone. Mobisol engineers are constantly working to improve the devices. This small box is the heart of the device. It contains control technology and a wireless connection to company headquarters in Berlin. Mobisol is a real success story. It's expanding its operations in Berlin and in Africa. The company's sales have doubled over the past year, and right now they can hardly keep up with demand. And that was Markets on Air.